Hi, Joe.
And they closed it.
Lisa, I think you're.
Say again?
Safety note page, then I'll just quick do something in that.
Sure. We'll give people a few more minutes to make it back in here. I'm thinking that we have everybody now, Lisa, so all you. Go ahead, Lisa. You're on mute. You're on mute still.
Just page down a little bit, Joe. One of the things I'd like to point out is this breakout session is about safety, is about prohibited activity. There's a nice very link here. It says prohibited activities, and it gives you the guidelines of what's prohibited, but also it gives you the idea of what trainings might have to be available and what you need to do events and programs. The big thing about looking at the prohibited activities is there's always challenges to make sure that we are doing the appropriate activities with the youth in this day and age, and what is inappropriate. We always have parents that want to do big things and it sounds fun, but once again, it's all about being safe and which way is required. But more important, challenge them to say, we need the training to do that. We need to provide the training that's available to do it, such as safe swim defense, safety afloat, safe driving, all of the safety, even wilderness first aid. And if you and as trainings are coming up, look at your top leadership. See if they have the requirements to do this, or if any parents are agreeing to be getting into that training so you can do some of these activities. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah. You can find all of this on the the Safe Scouting, the Scouting Safely webpage. So I'll share this in the chat, and this kind of gives you a variety of things that you can look at. But the key things to really be focused on are those prohibited activities. And I also want to make everybody aware of the Guide to Safe Scouting. And this is a reference that you certainly should be aware of as a unit leader. So if you've not looked at this previously, I would encourage you to spend some time with it. And again, this is not designed to be restrictive, but we do need to recognize that when families in our community, are having their children participate in scouting, there's an expectation on us as unit leaders or event coordinators that there's going to be a certain element of safety to that activity. And we obviously want to, make good on that trust. So I'll share these in the chat, and I just would encourage everybody to spend some time with those as they can. And I think Zach Tomash is up next.
Can I just add one comment quick?
Yes, please.
One thing that I would just add is that there's a lot of activities that aren't prohibited, but have to be held by either the counselor at a district level, and they require a little bit more training than what most people are going to have in a given unit. Like BB gun shooting and the climbing type stuff, the archery type stuff. And that's a lot of times that's what a lot of the youth are looking forward to. So just keep that kind of stuff in mind. They're not necessarily prohibited items, but you might have to reach out to Joe or somebody to try to arrange some events like that. So
yeah, I'll just touch on that real quick. We've been getting some people up to speed for shooting sports training specifically. So I think we've got an instructor team of 5 or 6 people now that can actually provide shooting sports activities for your unit. We had several packs that did, archery days at Camp Decorah here this fall. It was pretty well received. So you can schedule those using the gatewayscouting.org/rentals page, or you can reach out to us at the service center here. We'd be glad to give you some further direction on that too. So yeah, good point, Ryan. Thanks for pointing that out. Zach?
Yeah, thanks, Joe. All right, so I
Oh,
shot you off a Word document, if you don't mind sharing that on the screen. This council, we have kind of with 3 districts, and we have 2 different recharter dates. Soaring Eagle and Winding Trail. You guys are kind of just started the process here. I sent out I sent out an email on behalf of Anna Francron from Troop and Pack 53 out of Houston. She's kind of the volunteer taking the lead on the recharter this year. Out to the Key 3, to Soaring Eagle and Winding Trails. That kind of lays out our whole recharter process. If you did not get that email and you think you should have, just reach out to myself and I'll make sure I get that off to you. Basically, we're kind of working on the second Tuesday of the month at 6 o'clock is kind of the key dates to remember here. So we wanted to do recharter pickup on Tuesday this week. If you were unable to make it, that's okay. We still want to get that out to you, especially before the holidays, because the second Tuesday of January, we're going to have a training out at Camp Decorah at Doll Hall. So we'll be able to spread out. We'll get those Wi-Fi hotspots going. We'll have multiple. So if we have people out or a lot of people out there, then we can not kind of all use up one hotspot, but get as many people out there and try and work them through this recharter process. Make sure to answer any questions. We are going to do it over Zoom as well. The disadvantage of doing it over Zoom is if you have a very specific problem for your unit, we're not really able to sit down with you and kind of work through it together. So we will have it via Zoom. It will also be in person, but that'll be the second Tuesday of January, which is January 12th. And then on February 9th, again, this is Soaring Eagle and Winding Trails, will be the turn-in date for charters. And if you can't make it then, I just want you to let me know to kind of tell me what date you're thinking about getting it in. The final due date is February 15th. That's your drop dead date. That means you can't get awards. You don't have insurance if you start meeting, and all the other things that happen when kind of your unit disappears. So those are kind of the 2 big ones right off the bat. So we want to make sure that we get our charters in by February 15th. When you come to pick up your charter, we are going to kind of go over a quick checklist. So I've done this a few times now. I've kind of seen the same issues come up over and over again year after year. So I'm trying to do my best to eliminate all those issues and make it as smooth as we can. So quick checklist, the first thing is to call all the families, especially the ones that haven't been showing up, and make sure that they are, yes, we are done, or no, we'd like to continue. It's just been, 2020. I mean, I feel like we can use that as almost an adjective to describe things now. It's just been the 2020 year. We haven't been able to kind of get back into the swing of things. So you want to make sure you call all those families and give them an opportunity to continue scouting. The other big thing on the checklist is youth protection training. So I feel like I've mentioned this before at a roundtable. Youth Protection 2 came out in 2018. Everybody took it in 2018. It's a 2-year. You're good for 2 years. So now we're in 2020, which means everybody's probably got to do it again. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to update youth protection. So that means you might have to track down either some certificates or if you're going to hold a youth protection training, let us know and we can get you some training reports and things like that to help your unit. So you're going to want to track down, again, call all your membership, make sure you have all your training up to date. And the last big thing I want to mention on this checklist is that we're only going to charter until December 31st of 2021. So that means Soaring Eagle and Winding Trails, that's a 10-month charter. For Seven Rivers, that's going to be a 9-month charter. And a couple reasons behind that, it's going to make it a little bit cheaper, obviously, because you're not doing a full 12-month, but then it's going to put us on the calendar year as well. It makes a lot more sense. It's kind of when our year ends as the council, our fiscal year as well. So everybody's going to be on the same calendar. Things are going to work a little bit smoother. And this year, it's going to be a little bit cheaper to recharter all your kids. So that's why we're doing that. If you go all the way to the end online, it's going to give you the amount for the full 12 months. So be cautious with that. And we're gonna need you to bring in a check because we'll have to adjust that on our end with each individual unit. So don't be freaked out that the number that you're calculating is going to be different than the number that shows up. That's because online it's still asking you to do and pay for all 12 months. So we'll ask you to just bring in a check and we'll make sure all the math adds up when we get there. On the checklist, it does have a breakdown of what each scout's going to cost. So Soaring Eagle and Winding Trails, a scout is $59 and then an adult is $39 for the full year. That includes the $4 insurance as well. So a lot cheaper than looking at a $70 bill, that's for sure. So when you come and pick it up, I'm going to ask that you guys fill out what I call a commitment card. And basically it's just asking you what date you plan on turning it in. If that's February 15th, great. If that's February 9th, great. If that's January 12th, awesome. But when we get past that date, so if you pick February 9th and it becomes February 10th and I don't have your charter, that just signals to me, hey, I'm going to give you a phone call. I want to know if you need any help. You had committed to this date and we want to make sure that we get it in on time before February 15th. When it comes to Seven Rivers, you guys are just 1 month pushed back. So we're still doing 6 o'clock on the second Tuesday. So January 12th will be your pickup date. You'll have a training on February 9th. Your turn-in date will be March 9th, and your drop-dead date is March 15th. All right. Are there any questions on recharter?
What was it, adult recharter fee again?
So for you, Tom, and Winding Trails will be $39.
Such a deal. All right, are the unit recharter fees going to change at all?
Good question. Yes. So the unit recharter, last year was a $60 fee. That's actually now $75. So it's $15 more on the unit fee.
No, so it's a full $75.
Yes.
Okay.
What about those troops that can't get down there on Tuesdays? I mean, I work over 2 hours from across, and I'm not sure I can get down there to get our packet.
Right. So, Ryan, if you need to come in at a different time, just let me know. I'm willing to meet people halfway. I'm willing to, if you need me to come all the way out to you, we can make that happen. I want to make sure that, especially for Soaring Eagle and Winding Trails, we get these charters in the unit's hands before the holidays. Because kind of once the week of Christmas happens, a lot of times it's going to be really hard to connect until the new year. So if you can't make Tuesday or you can't make it down during the week, let me know and we can work something out. Whether that means, we meet on a Saturday or a Sunday. Again, I want to get these in your hands so that way we can get this process going and try to make it or get it all done by February 15th.
Zach, how does this work with the blue and golds and the crossovers?
So if you haven't crossed over your Webelos before charter, the Webelos would just stay with the Cub Scouts and then they can do their crossover afterwards. There are some units that maybe your blue and golds in February, you could cross them over before and, they would just recharter with the troop and still get their awards with the pack. I would advise having all your Webelo 2s continue to just recharter with your pack and then do the crossover after both charters with the pack and the troop have been completed. There's no transfer fee anymore. And all the Webelo 2s have to do is just, either way, they would just have to fill out a new application to go from the pack to the troop.
Zach,
Yes.
it's Sean Parkin. Right now we have 60 expired youth protection individuals in Seven Rivers alone. So all of you need to check that you're current. I'll be sending a reminder email to all 60 of you in the next few days.
And if you don't know how to look on my my.scouting at your training report for your unit, let me know and I can pull that for you and put it right into an Excel file so you can figure out who exactly you need to get youth protection for before recharters do. So if you don't know how to find that, let me know. I can either walk you through how to get it, or I can just pull that report for you.
You can get us a report for the chartered members.
I was talking about youth protection report. So you know when people expire and who's already expired.
But can you get us the chartered members too?
I can. That'll be
For
in
the
your
unit?
charter paperwork as well. So when you pick up your packet, it's got a list of all of your adults and all your youth.
And one thing for people that this is the first time, I know the recharter process website is supposed to look a little different this year, but at least in every previous year that I've done it, it's much easier to complete recharter if you have everybody complete their training before you start the recharter process on the website, because at least in every previous year that I've done this for the past decade plus, the moment you start in the website with the recharter, that's what it records for youth protection things. And so then if anybody completes it after that, you do need like the paper certificates and stuff. But if it's completed before that, it's already recorded on the website that everybody's complete. And so there's no additional things to turn in.
Yeah, that's a good point, Ryan. So anything, once you sign in as a new user that very first time, it kind of captures your unit right there in that moment. So if, say, you started your recharter process and then you wanted to add a new scout, you would have to turn in that new unit application with your recharter. Or somebody didn't have their youth protection, like Ryan said, they would have to turn in their youth protection certificate. So once you hit that new user and you log in with your PIN, it captures your unit right there in that moment.
We just need new applications for Weeblo 2s transferring to scouts, correct?
Yes. Yeah, because they're applying to be part of the troop. So they're in the pack and then they're going to apply to be part of the troop. But there's no transfer fee or anything with that.
And based on previous experience, I would second his recommendation that Weeblo's 2s just be rechartered with the pack. And then at whatever point in time makes sense, hand in the transfer to the troop. It's always worked better for I've represent a troop in one troop in 2 packs, and it's always worked better that way. So.
And again, I want to be here as a resource. I brought Anna on board because she's done the recharter for many years. So we're here to help you guys. So if you get frustrated or if you have any questions, please reach out to us because it can be difficult the first time you go through it. So we want to make that smooth and we want everybody set up to be successful again in 2021. So. All right, I think that's it. If you have any other questions, feel free to just shoot me an email. If you didn't get that original email, let me know. I've already had a few kind of fly in here tonight, which is awesome. 7 Rivers, you're going to get that kind of timeline email coming out here before the holidays. So look for that. And again, just kind of keep that second Tuesday at 6 o'clock in mind. And that'll kind of be our recharter nights for each month. So thanks, Joe.
Yeah, you are welcome. Yeah, good information. Key takeaways. Zach and Anna are here to help you through the process. Working with us on the timelines is helpful just to ensure that all that gets in on a good schedule. And if you have concerns on getting in to pick that up, just reach out to Zach and he'll gladly work with you on something that works well for the 2 of you one-on-one. Just kind of some general updates. A reminder that if your unit is challenged on finding a physical meeting location due to COVID-19, that we do have space available both at the Council Service Center here in La Crosse as well as at Camp Decorah. Those are available at no cost. You can find information on that online, or else you can reach out to Zach or I individually. A couple of save the date items. Zach, do you want to touch on Cub hibernation real quick, and then we'll follow up with the recognition event?
Yeah, so Cub hibernation this year, since the Children's Museum is closed, I reached out to Fort McCoy. I believe it's, tell me if I'm wrong, I'm new to the area. What is it? Whitehall Hill is the skiing hill out there. And we got
Ridge.
Ridge, thanks, Mark.
White Tail Ridge.
Okay.
Whitetail, yeah.
Wait,
You'll mess up your GPS if you do it the wrong way.
yeah, so we'll send you guys information with the correct name of the location, but we're gonna do a scouting tubing night out at the Ridge on January 8th. So we're gonna keep that Friday still in place, and we're gonna send out a link for registration. It'll be $12, just like a normal tubing night if you were to go out there with your family. But actually, with this registration, some of the money actually gets kicked back to scouting. So you're supporting scouting and you're having a good night out. So everybody kind of wins in this scenario. But we're having a tubing night. They're gonna have their concessions open, so they'll have hot chocolate there and food and things like that available for you guys. So you'll register with us. We'll send them a list of people that have registered, and then you just show up and say, "Hey, I'm Zach Tomish with the Boy Scouts." They'll check you off, and then you get a fun night of tubing out there. So registration for that will be active next week, and then we're gonna send a postcard out to everybody. And I believe it was in the last newsletter. If not, there will be another email blast going out about it. So look for that registration to be active next week for you guys.
Zach, is
Yep.
this something that the scouts can ask friends to join?
You definitely can ask friends to join, and I would advise them to also use our link to register, because again, there's part of that registration is getting kicked back to the council a little bit. So that would be awesome to get a ton of people there. It could also be a good, bring a friend, recruit a friend. These are some fun things that we do, and yeah, maybe we can pull a couple more friends into scouting.
Is this bring your own tube?
No, they have their own.
Oh,
They have all the stuff for you. So you just got to show up. They ask that everybody wears a mask and gloves. Hopefully it's really cold. Well, maybe not really cold, but everybody will be wearing their gloves to keep their hands warm. And I asked if they just had like a ski mask on, if that was sufficient. And they said yes. So maybe wear a ski mask instead of another cloth mask that we've all been wearing as an alternative. So that's kind of the only thing you got to bring with you is yourself, gloves, and a mask of some sort.
Are you gonna support people that want to go skiing there instead of tubing, or is it just gonna be restricted to tubing?
So our registration is just for tubing. If you wanted to go skiing that night, you could sign up on your own with them directly. So our thought through this was that because you don't have to bring anything for tubing, and not everybody probably has skis and stuff like that, that can really drive up the price for rentals. So this event is tubing, but maybe we can look into something later down the line that's a little more open.
Zach, we learned in a roundtable or two ago, helmets. Do they supply that? We got to provide that ourselves. You need a helmet for downhill sledding, stuff like that.
So I can talk to the Ridge, but they're kind of the ones that are overseeing this. But we'll see what we can come up with here.
It's normally scouting follows. It's their facility. It's their rules. Because it's, I don't know if Zach, if that still holds, but that's for a lot of things. That's kind of been the standard.
Yeah. So I know, like when we did I did a lock-in at the YMCA, and they would bring in lifeguards during our swimming session. As a former aquatics director, I knew that our numbers from lifeguards to scouts in the water were not correct. But Ryan, you're correct where it's their facility, they're running it. So we kind of we follow their rules. And we'll go in with that.
They don't require the helmets, but they do rent them,
Okay.
or they do have some.
Well, I
I
think
would check into
scouts now
that.
require it. So I can't see where we're going to say their facility, their rules. Our rules say we're going to wear them. So I would think we should wear them personally.
Yeah, Guide to Safe Scouting says you have to wear them. And my assumption is if you don't, then forget the insurance. I can tell you, I had a scout with a helmet on sledding, bang his head and get a concussion through the helmet. And had he not had the helmet on, we'd have been in a lot of trouble. The idea of the kids not wearing helmets, I don't like wearing helmet sledding either, but I would not encourage anything with kids not wearing helmets.
All kids have helmets for their bicycles, so it's really no really big issue that they cannot bring their own helmet. And I would recommend that being on the sheet.
We can add that, yeah. And it sounds like Mark's got a good connection there, and it sounds like they have some helmets there as well if you can't bring one. So we'll add that to the sheet.
Well, the other issue too is if we try and enforce guide to safe scouting things within our troops, but then the kids go to a council event and they, oh, well, we didn't have to at the council event, that undermines our ability to follow the guide to safe scouting within our units. And we need to be consistent.
Yeah, it sounds like the written information we publish will include information on helmets, and it sounds like Whitetail Ridge will have at least some available for rental, but I think the best thing would be for youth to plan to bring their own, and we'll keep it all consistent. So thanks for bringing that forward, Peter. Also on the save the date note, I want to encourage everybody to save the date of Tuesday, January 26th for a virtual council recognition event. This takes the place of a gathering that we typically would have had in April of 2020. What we're doing this year is we're recognizing 2 years of Eagle Scouts. So not only our 2019 Eagle youth, but also youth that have earned that Eagle Award in 2020. We're going to be highlighting each scout and each project. So very exciting that way. If you're here with a troop tonight and you've had youth achieve that Eagle rank within the last 24 months, be aware that those families are being asked to submit a picture and some information of their scout. All of you that are here in a direct leadership role, so a Cub Master, Scout Master, or Committee Chair, you also should have received a recent request for your unit to provide some pictures and highlights of your year of scouting. The other thing that's going to happen that evening is we're looking to highlight every unit in the council. So we should have the opportunity to showcase 85 different scout units and kind of the highlights of their year, which I think is going to be great fun and I think pretty inspirational for us to see all the great things that have happened in the last 12 months of scouting despite the pandemic. So please save that date. Please encourage your families in your unit to save that date as well. It's not just an event for unit leaders, but really an event for scout families. And I'm hoping that we can inspire scout families to continue to participate actively as they see all the great things that are occurring in scouting as well. So save that date of Tuesday, January 26th. Plenty more information coming. That will be a virtual event via Zoom there. So just kind of wrapping things up, two things that I wanted to share from my perspective here, just kind of as a closing minute. Number one, November, December, often a time of year that we spend a little bit of brain space being thankful. So being thankful for those that thankful for various things in our lives. And I know that you as unit leaders may hear this from your families often, but there may be times where you don't hear it from families. And I want to thank you on behalf of all of the youth in your unit and in your community for what you do as a unit leader in scouting. Our program absolutely would not exist without our adult volunteers. In my opinion, it's what really sets scouting apart from many other youth activities is the fact that we have passionate adult volunteers giving of their time, talent, and oftentimes money to help make the scouting program work in your individual packs and troops. So a very big thank you on that. The other item that I wanted to address just real briefly, and if you'd like to talk on it further, I would just invite you to connect with me one-on-one via phone or email, and we can talk through that. As there are continuing to be some developments in the Boy Scouts of America National Chapter 11 situation. You maybe saw some information in the media within the last month here about abuse claims and things like that. A few things that I want to note on that. Number one, since 1990, scouting has been overwhelmingly a very, very, very safe place. When scouting really led youth movements in terms of putting youth protection measures in place, including criminal background checks, 2-deep leadership, things like that. So I want everybody to be aware that, not only our current generation of scouts and scouters, but really even the last 2 generations of scouts and scouters have participated in the program in a very, very safe place. I know hearing some of this can be difficult to hear when you maybe read the news story or see it on NBC or CBS, whatever that would be. But I do want to encourage and ask everybody to be proud to be scouts, be proud to be scouters, be proud to be volunteers. You're doing great things in your individual communities for kids and for families through scouting, and please pass that word along to others in your unit that you know, scouting is a safe place and that we all should be proud to be members of this organization. So on that note, we'll wrap things up. We're a few minutes after 8 p.m., but certainly, you know, stay on if you have questions or comments. We're not doing a poll to close out, but if you just kind of share in the chat, you know, any feedback that you would have on tonight. And if we don't talk to you individually in the next 2 weeks here in the service center at some other meeting or function, happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, and we'll see everybody soon. Thank you all.
Thank you, Joel.
Thank you.
Uh,
Zach? Zach?
Yes.
Okay, could you go over the dates for the rechartering stuff again?
Yeah. So we're thinking just second Tuesday of the month. So we had pickup on December 8th, which was Tuesday this week, which if you didn't get it, not a big deal. Just reach out to me. We want to get that to you before the holidays.
Pick up what?